who have read about a javelin but never seen one, this is the magic stick that bought my way across the world to the Netherlands, to France, to England, and to Germany, among other places. This and several others, but this was my favorite. So keep that in mind. A piece of wood can take you a long way. I haven't been asked to speak in 54 years, but don't worry, I won't drag it on too long. I was blessed with a wonderful daughter, Cheryl, who's here today, who has sorted through boxes and boxes of stuff and came up with a few items up here and a few words for me to follow to help me with the dates and the places and the times. My 22 years of amateur athletics began in 1920, right here in Union City on Davis Field. I began with baseball as center field and as catcher, ultimately becoming the team captain. I played football as quarterback, end, tackle, and guard, but only for one season, and decided that contact sports wasn't for me. In track and field, I participated in the discus, shot put, and javelin, pole vault, and high jump. I was the high point man in the years 23 and 24, and I lettered 9 times while I was in high school. In addition to being very active in athletics, I was also the joke editor of the Union City Annual Yearbook in 1925. I loved music and played the saxophone in the high school orchestra in 1924 and 25, drums in 1923, the HKBL Orchestra in 24 and 25 and 26, the Methodist Church Orchestra in 1926, right over there, and the Alumni Orchestra and Albion College Band. And by the way, it escapes me. Does anyone know what the HKBL Orchestra was? Okay, moving on. I also served 2 years as mayor here in Union City. In 1936, while at Albion College, I placed first in javelin at 4 meets. Hillsdale, I threw 168 feet, Mount Pleasant, 159, Kalamazoo, 185, Ypsilanti, 165. That same year, I broke the state record of 168 feet with a throw of 185 feet. In 1927, I placed third in the Ohio relays with a throw of 181 feet, first at Hillsdale with 185, Alma 179, Kalamazoo 193.4, MSU Lansing 189.6, which was a new state record, and at the MIAA Albion 179.3. Lansing again at CIM 178.4, which was a new record there, and 171, and third at the national meet in Chicago of a throw of 191.6. In 1928, I qualified for the Olympic trials at Soldier Field in Chicago with a throw of 216 feet, which earned me a spot on the U.S. Olympic team for the Games in Amsterdam, the Netherlands. The U.S. Olympic team for the Games by the U.S. Games in the Netherlands was coached by none other than General Douglas MacArthur. I was seasick for part of the voyage over, but every day we practiced on the ship's deck. Best throw going over on the boat was 200.6 feet, which earned me only 10th place. After the Olympic Games, the team completed in Cologne, Berlin, Paris, Brussels, Switzerland, and London. In 1932, I qualified for the Los Angeles Olympics at Stanford University and traveled by car with my lifelong friend and fraternity brother, Dan McGrew Hartog. My twin brother, Lynn Bartlett, also attended these games. There, I finished fifth with a throw of 211 and 48 feet. In 1936, I took first place at the U.S. Olympic trials held on Randall's Island in New York City. I qualified for the team with a throw of 223 feet. This qualified me a berth to the Olympic Games in Berlin. I had the distinction not only of being a participant, but also the coach for the javelin team, a first to happen in the Olympic Games. My folks, Charlie and Gertrude Bartlett, saw me perform locally. However, they were unable to attend any of their Olympic Games. By the way, they lived right across the corner here, kitty corner, from where we are. If there had been Olympics in 1940, I would have been the javelin team captain. Because of the unrest in Europe building up what was to be known as World War II, they were canceled. I continued to compete in events until my retirement in 1942. In 1943, I married Dorotha Bueller from Three Rivers. Her family had lived in Union City twice when her father, Gene Bueller, was located here to work for the New York Central Railroad. We bought a home in Dearborn Heights and lived there our entire lives. I taught school in the city of Dearborn, whose the mayor also came from Union City, uh, and is buried here. We had a son, Lee Jr., and a daughter, Cheryl, who now lives on Union Lake on the cottage that has been our summer home since 1928. I taught school in Marlette, Union City, and Dearborn Public Schools for a total of 41 years, retiring in 1972. My life ended abruptly on October 31, 1972, and I rest peacefully in the Riverside Cemetery in my hometown, a place I truly love. I was inducted posthumously into Albion's inaugural Athletic Hall of Fame in 1989, and then in 2016 was inducted into the Union City's inaugural Athletic Hall of Fame. Thank you. I'll leave you with this story. I was returning home from high school track practice, and several local boys were standing on the corner across from what the family restaurant was, right up here, if you remember the family restaurant. They challenged me to see if I could throw that thing, my javelin down here, which was on the corner of Ann and Charlotte Streets right over there. I reared back and let that thing fly, only to hear seconds later the sound of breaking glass. My dad's Ford was parked in the drive, now sported a javelin securely planted in the front seat and protruding through the windshield. I had some explaining to do. That's my story. Thank you so much for living in Union City and loving it the way we did.